Good afternoon, everyone. All right, we'll just wait a minute or so as we've got more and more people joining us. While we are starting and waiting for all of our peers to join us for this fabulous SPASA Business Centre presentation, we'll just go through a few key items. So while you're on Zoom, bottom of the screen, you'll see a chat box. If you click the chat box, just make sure that you turn on all panelists and attendees. That way your comments that you're sharing with the team, your insights as we go through today will be shared across the whole network, because this is a fantastic networking opportunity. Please feel free to share your thoughts and ideas with everybody online. All right, hello Tash, hello John, hello Derek. Got lots of people coming through and saying hi, fantastic. Yep, so just to remind everybody in that chat box, make sure you click all panelists and attendees. Now we can share the love, which is wonderful. We'll just give it another minute. Traditionally, our beloved industry is about 15 minutes late, but we can't wait that long, so we generally give everyone about a three minute opportunity to join. We've got a few more attendees popping through. Hello to everybody that's new. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Okay, a few more coming through, which is great. Wonderful. Okay, we're getting to slow down a bit now on the new entries. Okay, so welcome, greetings and salutations, and welcome to week 6. So we're halfway on the initial foray for the Business Centre presentation. So it's wonderful to have all of you here on board with us. Today we've got a fabulous speaker, our young gun, not so young anymore, the lovely Mr. Luke Daly, who will be your presenter today. Luke is our sales and marketing manager, so he heads up everything we do from a promotions point of view and a member services point of view for SPASA, and we look forward to him talking all about marketing activities and covering off those items today. But first, I would like to introduce managing partner from Europe Imports, Mr. Peter Cowell. Peter, if you could join us, we'd love to have a chat with you. Welcome on board. Okay.
Joining.
It's great to have you, mate. Mate, it's in this time of crisis. I mean, you know, we hear the word fairly often with COVID, but you know, pre and post COVID, like any business of a reasonable size, the assumption is that you've got an active marketing plan. But you know, could you talk a little bit around that? So, does Europe Imports have an active marketing plan, and then what impact did COVID have upon it?
Yeah. Okay, so probably like most businesses out there that are watching and listening now, they might not, I'm not sure how many people actually have a marketing plan written down. So what we've focused on, well, certainly our marketing activities are through the roof, and I'll go through them a bit later. But what we have been focusing lately on, especially because of COVID, it sort of kicked us all up the bum a little bit, and it said, right, well, you know, who are we today and who do we want to be tomorrow? And part of that was coming up with a vision statement that we could share with our whole team. Yep. Yeah. And in terms of COVID, like, it's really been a blessing in disguise. And in saying that, I know so many people are doing it really tough. A lot of businesses out there are struggling. So I don't want to take away from that. Please don't think that. But for us, it really has been a blessing. We've had people working, we've had 4 of our admin team, 4 out of 6 working from home, and their productivity has gone through the roof. We've been able to engage in more marketing activity than we ever could have possibly imagined, just because we're being so much more efficient, yeah? Less distractions at work, less, you know, banter around the water cooler and such.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, what are some of the activities that you've been taking on? Like, what have you undertaken?
Yeah, so prior to COVID-19, firstly and foremost, our biggest investment in marketing is always the SPASA Expo, which we get truckloads out of. Then there's sponsoring the SPASA Awards, entering the same awards. We built a new website. We started opening on Saturdays for selections, because a lot of the mums and dads who are taking their kids to sport, or were taking their kids to sport, then could come in the afternoon. We've started a new campaign where we've got someone, not full-time, but spending a lot of time going on Google Earth, looking at certain suburbs that I suggest are the ones to attack, i.e. eastern suburbs, let's say, because we're in pool building and stuff. So they've been looking at every single home that has a pool, writing that address down, and then we're mailing out to them. You need to, and actually we're looking for a partner, someone like a pool cleaning maintenance business to work with us on that, but that's another story. So then DA approval. So every time, we've also got someone looking at, as soon as anyone gets the DA approval for a renovation for a swimming pool or a new swimming pool, we mail them out a pack saying, we know these are challenging times and it's a difficult process to go through. We're here to help. And then what we do is we then try and pair up, or depending on the type of project, we pair the right builder with the project, with that customer. We are doing regular newsletters, being very consistent with new products and specials, always trying to develop new products. Social media has been huge for us. Instagram and Facebook. Instagram more than Facebook, I found, has really been working for us. Okay. We've got quite a few new clients out of Instagram, but I guess it depends on the demographic of who your clients are. Some of the older people might not be so au fait with Instagram and might not be comfortable with it, and they might be more comfortable with Facebook, and that's fine. So we make sure we're across both of those platforms. Don't bother about LinkedIn at this stage.
Lost Pete. All right. We have a fairly standard response in SPASA when we've been using Zoom, virtually 3 or 4 times a day. About 1 in 4 of these meetings, something goes wrong with the glorious NBN or internet, what we have. So we'll bring Pete back in when we get a chance. But I mean, what we've heard there is, yes, have a plan, preferably have it written down. And then obviously adjust that plan as obviously the opportunity arises. COVID, I think, has given every business an opportunity. I know SPASA is the same. It's given us a fantastic opportunity to review everything we do, and most importantly, adjust based on the strategic direction, which is, for us, engagement with yourselves. And these courses are a perfect example of what we've done. And we'll come back to Pete a little bit later once we've got him back on board. So with no further ado, I would like to take this opportunity to thank so much our sponsors. With our platinum sponsors on Fluidra and Pentair, our silver sponsor for the year of Hayward, and our education sponsors, Focus Pool Products, Europe Imports, Climate Care, everyone that has supported this endeavour. We appreciate everyone's input into this, and most importantly, you, the listener, the attendee who's dialing in every week and giving us feedback of what we should look at in the future. So thank you so much. I will introduce the fantastic Mr. Luke Daly. Luke.
Good afternoon.
All right, I will close my video and hand over to you, kind sir, once you share the screen.
Beautiful. Let's get moving.
Okay.
Right. So, do you have the red screen of death, or have you got my presentation there?
I have your presentation.
Fantastic. Well, welcome along, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for week 6. Today, we're going to spend some time looking at how to market the business to stay in business. A logical place to start, I guess, would be to look at what is marketing. So before we get stuck into that, just want to let you guys know that this presentation is adapted from the performance criteria listed in BSB MKG 414, Undertake Marketing Activities, which is part of one of our diplomas, which we have on scope at our SPASA training, which is a registered training organisation in Australia. We'll talk a bit more about that later. So what is marketing? Now, marketing can mean different things to a lot of different people. Let me know in the chat box below about what marketing might mean to you, or even what you think marketing does mean. Put a short definition of marketing on the screen for you, which fundamentally rings true, but I'd like to consider two other definitions as well. So firstly, this is a very kind of textbook answer, so bear with me, but marketing is a broader concept of describing the communication between the organization and its customers. It's the adaptation of institution and commercial activities with the intention of inducing behavioral change of the customers, either on a permanent basis or in a short-term basis. It's a process or activity to create, communicate, and deliver the value or product or service to the consumers. That's very textbook, isn't it? So let's have a look at Seth Godin's version. Now, Seth is one of the world's leading marketing brains, written a number of books on the topic, but Seth says that marketing is the generous act of helping someone solve a problem, their problem. Marketing helps others become who they seek to become. Now, Seth makes a distinction between bad marketing and good marketing. Now, bad marketing is about hype, about interrupting customers, about pressuring to get customers to do what you want, about scamming the customer into buying a product that they may not need or want. But good marketing helps customers. Good marketing is a positive force in the world. The other kind of marketing, the good kind or the effective kind, is about understanding our customers' worldview and desires so we can connect with them. So Seth says that marketing is a force of change, and a marketer is only effective when he creates change. Sounds a little bit brighter, doesn't it? Lindsay, have we got any thoughts in the chat as to what marketing is to our audience?
Hi everybody, just a reminder to make sure you click all panelists and attendees in the chat box, so it's not just what's coming through to me, but it comes through to everyone. What's up for marketing? I do have something that's come through just to us on it's marketing if it works. That's an interesting, a fantastic response there. Thanks, John. Okay, I've got some comments on social media on people wishing to have some more information on Instagram. And that's all I have for now, Luke.
No drama. All right. Well, today, like we said, it's adapted from the course. So we're going to look through 4 functions of undertaking marketing activities. So firstly, we're going to have a look at researching our marketing information. Then we're going to look at planning marketing activities. We're going to implement these activities. And fourth, certainly last but not least, we're going to review these activities. So the process can be simplified into the following model. We need to understand the marketplace and customer needs and wants. We're going to design a customer-driven marketing strategy, construct an integrated marketing program that delivers superior value. We're going to build profitable relationships and create customer delight. We're going to capture value from customers to create profits and customer quality. So, marketing management. From the looks of things today, we have several marketing managers with us from large enterprises, and we also have a number of small business owners joining us who would certainly be performing marketing functions. On top of that, I can see that we have a large quantity of sales-oriented folk, so we will look to bridge that divide between marketing and sales. Not always, but it is a fairly common one. So we've defined marketing. Now let's define the function that is marketing management. It's the art and the science of choosing target markets and building profitable relationships with them. This requires the consumers in the marketplace be fully understood. So the aim of this is to find, attract, keep, and grow customers by creating, delivering, and communicating superior value. So Lindsay, if you can, we've got a poll there, I think, poll 1. I want to understand from our audience, who here has a marketing budget? And do you have an active marketing plan? And then thirdly, of course, do you stick to it? So let me know. Have a look at the poll and I'll just keep talking over it. So of all these questions, naturally COVID-19, the pandemic that we're in the middle of, has caused us all to think and act quickly. So who's redefined their budget and strategy, and who's just tossed it out the window? So while Lindsay collates that information for us, I wanted to briefly discuss the changes in the marketing landscape. Due to the speed at which technology advances and globalization occurs, there's been a seismic paradigm shift in the way that businesses act in many markets. So if we frame marketing as the activity or the set of instructions and the process for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offers that have value for customers, if we apply this to old markets and the view of marketing became all about making a sale or telling and selling, basically regurgitating features and benefits or informing customers about what they should buy. The modern view of marketing, though, is encompassed by a desire to satisfy customer needs. Now, we live in a world where customers have direct access to as much information as they want or they can handle. They're already incredibly informed of what they want to purchase by the time they come to us and they're ready to purchase it. This is largely thanks to marketing. Now, whatever medium is used, whatever might tickle their fancy, marketing should be designed to satisfy that need. Now, we'll do our best today to make sure that the content is relevant and contextualized, so keep those questions coming. We can chat about Instagram or different modes at the end of it. But Lindsay, can we have a look at some of those responses to that poll? Interesting. So 60-40, we've got a marketing budget. Virtually the same for an Interesting. Very interesting. Basically 50-50. So for those that don't have a marketing budget or a plan or don't stick to it, maybe something you can work on. And hopefully today we'll be able to explore why it's important to have those things in place. Thank you, Lindsay. Anything in the comments, Lindsay, or are we good to keep rolling?
We've got some comments from Naomi, where she's taken over her socials advertising recently, just to maintain the quality and quantity. Another one's got, I found only that phone work messages have worked. We've got a few other comments of that We're Open has worked for the first 2 weeks out of lockdown. Worked well as well.
The fact that you're there is good enough marketing, hey?
Yes, yeah. Look, sometimes it's as easy with Luke, as you know. Sometimes it's easy just letting people know that you're actually open for business. We shouldn't take it for granted. Bizarre how answering the phone sometimes actually works, hey? So, all right, well, let's get stuck into those 4 functions. We're going to start with the research component. It's a bit like building blocks or that cornerstone, you know, it seems obvious, but let's have a look at a strategic way that we can do this research element. So before we can even produce that marketing plan that we've talked about, we need to do our research. So we need to identify our customers, build some profiles or avatars, establish what our brand is and who we are to our existing and potential client base, explore where our offering fits in terms of the marketing mix, which we'll get into again, and then segment this down to a specified audience or audiences to communicate our message effectively. Customers. We need to know our audience. So we need to create a profile of all the potential or actual users of the organization's service or products and update this profile as part of the organization's strategic plan and the business plan. So who are our customers? Will they buy our product or service? What will they pay? Who are our competitors? Why are we different? Why should they purchase from us? John, I remember talking to you about this last year. What is the size of the market and what share can we expect? And what are some barriers to entry or barriers that we might put up to stop our customers from buying from us? How do we break those down? So if we know our audience, we need to know about avatars. No, not the strange movie with Lara Bingle's husband in it, but more like a profile or a summary version of what your typical customer might look like. Their attributes, their habits, their lifestyle choices, their communication style, etc. Now let's think about that in the context of our industry, the pool and spa industry. Now I'll keep running through,
But let me know in the chat box what might be some of the avatars for certain aspects or sectors of our industry. Suppliers, for example, customers might include pool shops or pool builders. So what characteristics does Bob the Builder have? He might be short on time. He always wants product delivered when he requests it, and if you miss it, look out. They're fairly direct or gruff in their communication. Perhaps it's one-word text messages, and you're meant to interpret that. They just want their problems to go away. If they've got aftermarket service issues, just take care of it for them, and they'll probably be happy. Often, they may not be particularly interested in the features and benefits of a product or a full rap sheet. They just want to know what's going to work. What else? Keep letting us know in the chat box. Why don't we consider Penny the pool shop owner? Now, Penny might always be busy and very short on time, except in winter, right? It might be a slow, rainy, cold Wednesday where time seemed to go on forever and ever, and all of a sudden, Penny, who might be good for 2 words, all of a sudden takes up 2 hours. Now, Penny, the pool shop owner, might need a bit more nurturing in terms of product training or marketing support. She might habitually order stock periodically to ensure that good offering for customers is always there. What else might Penny need? Now, what if we consider the avatars or customers that might be looking to purchase a pool or a spa? Say Fran, the frazzled mum with lots on her mind, who wants to tire her kids out in the pool that she doesn't have yet. She needs to feel connection with the salesperson. She's likely already worked through a detailed research phase online to identify quality pool builders that suit their needs. Google reviews, Facebook reviews, her friends at their local community page on her Facebook. She's probably already got finance sorted, ready to work out the investment, and is good to go. But she just needs clear communication and an understanding that they're not going to be ripped off. Or Prudent Peter, our beloved retail customer, he needs you to be available. He needs you to be open like we already established, right? He wants his good price, or he wants to have a bit of back and forth on negotiation. Still needs that connection with the salesperson, but he's probably a little bit more savvier. They're probably a little bit more savvier because they've done the research. They know what they want. They've been on the community pages. They understand aftermarket service. So these are what might look like typical customers within our industry. I've always found that to start putting together profiles of others, it's good to start with yourself. So for me, I mean, I've probably got the wrong glasses on, but you might be like this legend. Hey, it's close. It's not bang on, but it's the best I could do. So maybe start with yourself. Work out what marketing appeals to you, how you talk, what you might look like, and what you get sold on. Keep those suggestions coming as we keep talking and working together. It's meant to be interactive. Marketing is, by nature, interactive. So we know what our customers look like now. We know what some of that audience might need from us. So let's have a look at branding. What are we putting out as an offering? How is our organization, or how are we personally perceived internally by staff and externally by customers? So how do we work this out? We might ask current customers or lapsed customers who have already left. We might ask potential customers. We might conduct some quantitative or qualitative research where we can know the numbers via statistics, or work through some motivations like through focus groups or interviews or feedback. For our brand, what's our company's mission? Looking at this, branding is becoming more and more of a prevalent topic. You see those examples there between a basic coffee and a Starbucks coffee, or a basic brick and a supreme big brick. US, but still there's a big difference, right? So according to entrepreneur.com, there are 8 tips to branding. We need to create a great logo. We need to write down our brand messaging. We're going to integrate our brand so it extends to every part of our business, from answering the phones to what we wear as salespeople. What does our signature look like? Are the colors and text on point? We need to create a voice for our company that reflects our brand. Are we friendly? Are we ritzy and cool? Are we conversational? Be you. We need to develop a tagline. Then we're going to design templates and create brand standards for our marketing materials. It might be that our Instagram page on the grid is very panned out. It might be image and then text with a motivational thing and then inspiration. There could be a bunch of templates that we work from. Now, the last two are probably very, very relative. We need to be true to our brand. There's no point pretending to be nice when we're very direct. That's okay. But we need to be true to our brand. If we're saying that we're nice, we're kind, we be nice. And we're consistent about it. So continuously being the same. Part of our branding means we need to know what our value proposition is. Take a look at that example there. Imagine if Apple had marketed it as the world's first portable media player. Now, I was in grade 10 when this first iPod came out, but I remember it, right? We had MP3 players on USB sticks, which we could load up. Roll back a bit further, you've probably got some CDs or Walkmans or boom boxes on the shoulder if you go back that far. But value propositions dictate how firms will differentiate and position their brands in the marketplace. A set of benefits or values a company promises to deliver to customers to satisfy their needs. Do you know what your value proposition is? If you've got one documented or in your head or you know, let me know in the comments. If you don't know what your your value proposition is, maybe it's something to consider. Touch base with me after the fact if you like, and we can run through that about some ideas. Maybe you're not in charge of marketing or branding or the value proposition, so think about yourself. To your current employer or to future employers, as an employee, what's your personal value proposition? What makes you different? So think about some brands that have high perceived value. Apple's true, I'm a sucker. I got Apple everything. They bought me, they own me. Toyota's a funny one though, right? They're still living off a legacy where their cars were good from about 2002, perhaps. So let's have a look at the customer perceived value. So it's the customer's evaluation of the difference between all of the benefits and all of the costs of a marketing offer relative to the competing costs. Perceptions are often subjective, and consumers or customers or whoever, none of us as humans, are completely objective about a product's offering. So when a customer is thinking about value, they're looking at perceived benefits minus their perceived sacrifice. Now, let's bring this a bit closer to home, shall we? The example I want to use may make your eyes water if you've had experience in a pool shop or the chemical supply trade. I want you guys to think about a product that you would see at one of the mass merchants. I'm going to put it up on the screen. 30 seconds outdoor cleaner. Now, the perceived value here is time. It's in the name. Obviously, you can use this agent and after 30 seconds, you can hose it off and have a clean outdoor surface, right? If I was to zoom in a little bit further to the active constituent, what you would notice is that it says the chemical is 50 grams per liter sodium hypochlorite. Now, what do you think this product would be worth? For those of you who have caught on to my drift, tell me what you think this means for our industry. That's right. This product retails for $22 for 5 liters. And it walks off the shelves. Hell, I've even purchased it. Before I knew better, of course. Now, I'm hoping, I can't see the chat, but I'm hoping that some of you have cottoned on to the fact that sodium hypochlorite is liquid chlorine, right? Which people use for their pools regularly. The active constituent of liquid chlorine is around, and it changes, but 120 grams per liter of sodium hypochlorite. And our retail pricing averages anywhere from 85 cents to $1.20 per liter, more if you're lucky. But the strength of the chemical is more than 2 times stronger. Now, what does this tell us? As a marketer, this tells me that marketing and perceived value makes a big difference. The liquid chlorine is more than 2 times stronger, and yet the market, what people are willing to pay, only values it at a quarter of the price. Some food for thought, right? Something to think about. Let's look at the marketing mix, or the 4 Ps of marketing: place, product, price, and promotion. This is the marketing mix. It's a concept that's been around for decades, originally coined by Neil Borden. Then E. Jerome McCarthy suggested the 4 Ps constitute the most common variables in constructing a marketing mix, which you see on your screen. Now let's move through them. We're going to do it relatively quickly, but be sure to ask questions as you go. So let's say you come up with an idea for a product, the first P. What's next? You're probably not going to be very successful if you rush it to market and just start selling it. Instead, we need our team or ourselves to do the market research and answer some crucial questions. Who is our target audience? Is there a market fit for this product? What messaging will increase the product's sales, and on which platforms? Might be Instagram. And how should our product developers modify the product to increase the likelihood of its success? And when I say product, I don't just mean something that's tangible, right? It might be a service. That's a product as well. The second P is promotion. It's probably the one you'd more expect, right? Promotion entails any digital or print advertisement, event, or discount that a marketing team puts together to increase awareness or interest in the product. Ultimately, we want it to lead to more sales, right? So during this stage, we're going to see methods like public relations campaigns or advertisements or social media promotions. What we're trying to do here is make customers aware of products. We're going to look at ways we can implement these a bit later on. Let's have a look at price. So it's critical that when we're marketing, we understand and we conduct an analysis of our business clients to offer suggestions for how and where to sell our product. Perhaps it might be over the internet or bricks and mortar or retail. There's a bunch of different ways for our specific product. So we need to get our product to the right place at the right time. And of course, price, the 4th P. Whether we're manufacturers looking to establish a recommended retail price, or whether we're retailers discovering that a price that we're going to charge for pool salt or chlorine, we're likely going to be checking our competitors out. Price it too high, and we'll lose out on our customer base. Price it too low, and we're going to lose more money potentially than we gain. Now, fortunately, market research and industry research helps us prevent this from happening. So it's a brief definition, and we hope that this definition has helped you understand marketing's purpose and how to define it. Marketing intersects with all areas of business, so it's important to understand how to use marketing to increase your business's efficiency and success. We could certainly expand on this for a long period of time. We could even expand out the 4 Ps to 7 Ps. But for time's sake, let's move on to market segmentation. So market segmentation is the identification of the portions of the market that are different from one another. Segmentation allows the firm or the company, us, to better satisfy the needs of our potential customers. So segmenting a market means dividing a population based on the specific factors which we're looking for. Once we've decided on the right market segment, we can design the necessary marketing mix to target the customer properly and position our product or service correctly. There are a bunch of different ways and segmentation variables alone and in combination that work to find our structure. This is geographic. Makes sense, right? We're dividing the market into different geographical locations as nations, cities, or neighborhoods, localizing our products or advertising to make sure that we're hitting these customers right. Demographic. Dividing the market into groups based on variables such as age or gender or family size, income, occupation, or education. This form of segmentation is effective as it helps us identify the consumer needs, wants, or usage rates, And it's also easier to measure than other variables. It's dangerous too, though. We need to be careful and guard against stereotypes when using age or life cycle segmentation, because it's a poor predictor of someone's life cycle, health, work or family status, or buying power. Then we look at psychographic segmentation, where it divides buyers into different groups based on social class or lifestyle or personality traits. And the fourth way we can do it is through behavioral segmentation, which divides buyers based on their knowledge or attitudes, uses, or responses to a product. What I mean. Now, we need to use a combination of all four of these, as not any individually is the best way to segment it. We need to combine them. I think we've got another poll there, Lindsay, if you don't mind having a quick look at that. I just want to understand, how many pools does an area need to justify opening a pool shop or starting a service front? I'd be interested to hear your guys' feedback on this.
There we go, Luke. Okay, we've got a few people coming through. While everyone's just clicking that, I'll highlight a question that John asked earlier on the We're Open component. I'm just posting a link to our website that you guys can follow after this meeting to our COVID resources, where we have social media icons and posters and other artwork where it's We're Open and other COVID tools that SPASA provides.
Beautiful. I'll let that run in the background there for a little bit.
Yep.
But let's move on to phase two, the planning phase. So now that we've done our research, we've understood our audience and established that we have a viable product or service, we can move on to the planning stage. So let's have a look at this. So a marketing plan is a presentation of the broad strategic marketing approach to meet the plan's stated objectives. So in this section, we're going to address the question, so based on our goals, our resources in the market, what are the key strategies that we're going to implement? Some criteria that we might expect to find in a marketing plan include market research or target marketing, positioning, conducting a competitive analysis. We're going to have a look in depth of what a marketing strategy might look like. We need to know our budget, and we need to know the metrics against which we're going to measure the success of these campaigns. So if we have a look at marketing strategy, this requires careful customer analysis. To be successful, we must engage in segmentation, which is, we've looked at a little bit, but it's the process of dividing a market into distinct groups of buyers with different needs. Our targeting, which involves evaluating each market segment's attractiveness and selecting one or more segments to enter. Differentiation, creating superior customer value by differentiating our offering. And positioning, arranging for a product to occupy a clear, distinctive and desirable place relative to competing products in the minds of our target audience. Now, we've looked at customer segmentation on ways to do it, but let's have a look at why. Why would we segment? We might segment to meet our consumer needs more precisely, to increase our profits, to segment our leadership, where we place the leaders, to retain customers, or to focus our marketing communications. So market targeting involves evaluating marketing segments, how big the segment is, and the structural attractiveness to our company. It might also help us to be more socially responsible. It might be poor form if we market a particular, which you'll see on the next slide, a particular message to the wrong audience. What about differentiation and positioning? So positioning is defined as the act of designing the company's offering an image to occupy a distinctive place in the target market's mind. We need to identify possible differences and competitive advantages. And the key to winning target customers is to understand their needs better than competitors do and to deliver more value. A competitive advantage, or the extent to which a company can position itself as providing superior value. This is achieved through differentiation. Positioning, though, involves designing an offering so that the target segment members perceive it in a distinct and valued way relative to your competitors. There's three ways to do this. We might be unique. We might be the only product or the only service that does this. It might be the difference. You know, we're more than twice the features than our competitor. Or it might be similarities. We're the same, but cheaper, for example. Now, we do all of this in order to create and claim value, i.e. make profit. So before we move on to our implementing our marketing plan or our strategy, I'd like you guys to give me some examples of marketing activities which have stuck with you. Alternatively, let me know about some marketing fails so we can all have a laugh. I've put a few up here. And while you're typing, I want to talk to you about some effective marketing that I've seen or that caters to me. Right after Lindsay, if you can let me know, what do we think? What does our audience think? How many pools does our target market need? Mixed bag.
It is a mixed bag.
It's hard to give me some quantitative numbers there. But the winner, 501 to 1,000. Very interesting. Good to know. Thank you very much.
I've got something to add there. In my past life, Luke, we used to run our pool shops with approximately, if we had 250 regular customers, that meant like a loyal customer that would come in, say, 3 times a week plus a service. So we'd average about $1,000 to $1,500 for that consumer. At least that's what the software showed us. That would bring in around $375,000 to $500,000 a year in revenue. And if we had those loyalists, we would have another sort of twice that coming through. So that was around that sort of 250 to 750 customers, with a third that were regular and didn't disappear every 5 years. So around that sort of that mark, around that 500 to 1,000 is about right for a shop that does around between 500 to $1 million.
100%. I think if we look at the question, thank you for that insight. We could really range it, 49, I thought 50 even % of the audience said between 500 and 2,000, which is about on the money of what I would work off, and Lindsay, what you've worked off in your past life. So that's good insight. So have a look at these while I illustrate some stories. But some marketing that impacts me personally is the banking marketing. It always catches my eye, the way they're able to pick up on social clues and market to that audience at specific times. 2 or more years ago, it might be 2016 perhaps, when family, remember loyalty and family was all the rage, and that's the way banks marketed. But even now, in the midst of COVID, they've done this. They've been really fast to react and create ads or marketing. Now, not aggressively, but subtly hinting that home loan customers should refinance to create their dream at home because they can't travel, right? Heritage Bank is one that springs to mind recently. Their refinance ad depicts a family around a pool, eluding that they can holiday at home because they can't go anywhere, right? I mean, this rings well with me because their ads typically are surrounding swimming pools right at the moment. Put a pool in. So that's great. That's good for our industry. Now, unashamedly, another company that markets well to me is the Colonel. That's right. KFC gets me every time. I'll be halfway through watching a game of footy on a Friday night. Next thing, KFC comes up on the screen, and all of a sudden I'm in the car on the way to the drive-thru during halftime. Now, regret soon sets in. No, not because I've eaten KFC. It can be delicious, but their marketing got me. That's marketing. There you go. A couple more just for a bit of a laugh there. Westwood Medical and the big banner, A Million Ways to Die in the West. And then Old Wild Rose, hey? Lindsay, are there any stories that have come up there at all?
No, not at the moment, Luke. Keep going.
That's all right. Beer ads are one that usually strikes to the heart of people. I have a workshop question that I want you guys to think about as we move into the implementation part of our 4 stages, our 4 functions. What are some of the marketing activities that you have undertaken or are currently undertaking? Let me know in the chat box. I also want to know if they've been successful. So now that we've researched our market and formulated our marketing strategy, it's time that we implement this marketing plan. Now, there are a myriad of ways to which we can do this, but what's the most effective way for us to do it? We might use lead generation or telemarketing. Pete talked about that earlier. We might use market education, positioning ourselves to train our customers better so that they're equipped to sell more of our product, right? Might be channel marketing or relationship marketing. We do a lot of that. The human-to-human interaction is relationship marketing. Sales reps perform a big part of that. So how does our industry market? Pete, it's almost a summary slide, mate. You could have done this presentation for me, but awards of excellence. So winning an award and marketing that award positions you as superior, right? It shows that you're excellent. We might use Splash if we're in the supply trade. We might look at the Pool and Spa magazine, which goes out to consumers. Advertising in those to reach our audience or different segments of our audience. For a supplier, it might be that we're in Splash to reach Penny the pool shop owner or Bob the builder. But we also might look at the Pool and Spa platform to reach our consumers as a branding exercise. We might go to trade shows. We might attend conventions or conferences of groups. We might go to networking dinners or parties. Or we might participate in certification programs like Climate Care Certified, for example. There are all a bunch of different ways that our industry can market. What are some other ways? Let me know. A fun fact for you for a moment, though, is despite the common opinion or what the digital marketing agencies might tell you, Forbes research shows that when we utilize print and digital, our return on investment or ROI will be 3.4 times greater than if we just do some digital or just do some print. Ask me some ways about how we can help this with you. Now, I know for myself that even before I worked for SPASA, Splash magazine was a great way for me to keep up to date with what's going on in the industry. I've been reading this for probably 13 or 14 years now, and each time it still provides me with great insight. Some marketing activity ideas outside of the way our industry markets. Believe it or not, door knocking. Sounds painful, but it can be quite effective, yeah? After doing our research or getting poolside, it can be made easier by knocking. Now, our industry, it's very easy to do that, right? Pete kind of touched on it before as well. Simply going on Google Maps, it's easy for us to identify our market and go door knocking because we can see that big hole in the backyard that's blue is going to be a pool or a spa. Or flip it around, and if there is nothing, then we could put a pool or spa there, right? We go knock on the door and get poolside. Very easy. Other ways that work could be newsletters or articles or photos, print media, endorsements from, I don't want to say it, but influencers on Instagram is obviously effective. Telemarketing or stunts always work at times. Could be media stories or PR releases as well. There's a bunch of different ways. Any comments, Lindsay, so far on different ways or different activities that are being undertaken by our audience at the moment?
Thanks, Luke. We've got some the use of direct email marketing and some direct Facebook marketing have worked well under lockdown. Thanks, Linda. David's got Jehovah's Witness model. I'm assuming he means door to door, which is great. And Simon's got the marketing mix, so traditional, direct, social, and even a blackboard out the front. We know we've had lots of different people have got good success. There's a pool shop not far from our South Australian office that changes their sign at the front of their shop every day. I drive past it. There's always a funny saying on it every day, and it makes me look at their brand.
Beautiful. That is clever. Very clever. Another way that we didn't list off was but retarget remarketing. So using metadata from users' computers to show where they're tracking and then retargeting some ads behind that. It's relatively new, so feel free to have a chat with me at any time about how retarget remarketing works and to see what we can assist with. So now we're going to move on to our review section, which is our fourth function of our marketing cycle. To start this, and we'll highlight some answers at the end, But what are some metrics that we can use to measure the effectiveness of our marketing campaigns? Historically, the ROI, or return on investment, of marketing activities hasn't always been easy. A couple of decades ago, it might have been easy when marketing consisted of phone books, when Yellow Pages was actually used for more than proving strength. The real estate in Yellow Pages was a valuable marketing resource. It might be that back then it was either a referral or Yellow Pages, or that's it, really. These days, it can come from anywhere. Now, we get all these measurement metrics that we can undertake thanks to technology. We can get reports for open rates of emails or unique visitors to our website. What are other ways we can measure the success of our campaigns? Some of the metrics we might explore are marketing contribution to revenue, which is obviously the big one. What percentage of our revenue can be traced back to our marketing team's activities? It might be how we grow our funnel, our pipeline, and the speed at which we do it. That might be a different way to measure it. Or conversion rates. You know, what is the industry standard? What is our industry standard for converting someone to buy a pool, for example? If you're wondering, most will say that 10 leads equals 3 quotes, which equals 1 pool sale. Now, naturally, they're different depending on how we conduct our business, but that's a fairly good standard. We might look at the cost per lead or cost per opportunity. It might be the fact that a trade show brings in a lot of pool sales for a little amount of money relative to what we sell from that opportunity. Or we might just be undertaking a brand awareness campaign to get our message out there. Notoriously hard to measure. Or it might be likes on Facebook or follows on Instagram or shares, for example. So now that we've run our 4 functions, it's not over though, is it? Because we need to keep marketing. It's not a static activity, it's dynamic. So at the start of the session, we asked who had marketing plans in place and who's pivoted due to COVID-19, and a lot of it was around 50-50. Now, I'm sure the landscape of your marketing campaigns, or plans if you have one, looks very different than they did when we were all doing our planning in Q4 of last year. I know ours has. Now, there could be several campaigns running at any given time, which all need the 4 functions completed on each one of them. Perhaps the research component will be less about defining after we've run the cycle and more about refining. Now, tough times can often cause organizations to cease or pull back on marketing activities, but this isn't necessarily the right move to make. It's in these climates where marketing can make all of the difference. Now, a month or so ago, I'm not really sure what month it is anymore, but I did a video that appealed to our membership to enter the 2020 Awards of Excellence program, to keep marketing, to be in the awards this year, to come together as an industry and show our customers what we have to offer. Now, I'm pleased to report that we have a record number of nominations, which will allow us to collectively market to the masses what our industry has to offer. I'm very excited about our virtual awards program this year. So as we come to the end of what was a 4-step function, and then I've added the 5th in, which is repeat, I thought I'd provide you, while you bring some questions in, some handy marketing tools that we use or that are available in the marketplace to help us market better. Hootsuite for social media, for example, is a great one because, I mean, if you don't, you've got to do it at 6 different platforms, for example. Whereas Hootsuite brings it all together and allows us to blast one post out across all platforms. If you're looking for a CRM or a level of marketing automation, you might look at HubSpot. If you're like me and not very good at design, you'd have a look at Canva. It helps us to create our brand and keep that consistency a little bit more clear. If you're way back further and don't even have a logo, you might look at Tailor Brands. If you're a little bit further down the road, we're going to look at Facebook Ads Manager, which integrates Instagram, by the way, and we can have a look at some of that if there's questions coming through. Google Analytics, we might measure the traffic to our website, where they're coming from geographically, how much time they're spending on our pages. This breakdown, these measurement tools can be provided through an API in Google Analytics. And last of all, understanding our open rates for our emails. MailChimp is a great platform that lets us create sophisticated email campaigns that go out but also measure open rates or what people are looking at or clicking on to go through there. So I hope those kind of 7 different tools, some of you might be able to use and incorporate in your business. Again, I'm happy to talk further with you offline if you have any questions about those. That brings us to the end. So I'd like to thank you for listening in. This webinar, like we said, is taken from the Diploma of Business. Now, we haven't really touched on it or pushed too hard, but now's a great time to get qualified. For me, this opportunity is massive. We have training for the industry, by the industry. Now, over my life, I've done a bunch of study and can verify that the practical nature of training helps me to perform every day with some structure, knowing that there's a theoretical methodology to the way I conduct myself in business. So if you want to make yourself more attractive to your current or future employee, enroll with one of the courses. We've got 20% off those if you come along to these courses. Again, thank you. Don't forget to register for next week's webinar. The link will be provided after this. And after this, you'll be provided with an email. If you can participate in the survey to help us continually improve, you'll also receive a certificate of attendance. And if you're an accredited SPASA member, you'll receive a CPD point, which can go towards certification and business accreditation. That's it from us. We're going to stick around for questions until Lindsay decides to end the webinar. So happy to stay around. Keep those questions coming because it is a broad topic and we are out of time. So I'll be here. Lindsay will be there.
Awesome. Thanks, Luke. We've also got Peter back online too. So those of you who are adding on for the bonus content, Pete, if you could join us back with some internet speed, click on your camera. Well done. Excellent, mate.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know where I got.
That's all right. The internet is a fickle mistress. Mate, you've heard Luke's presentation, obviously covering the basics, and often it is such a good reminder with all of us that do marketing day in, day out in business, that if you don't cover the basics, you know, you get holes lost, and often we look back on the money spent. Mate, any particular campaigns that have really resonated with you guys where you've spent the money and it's worked really well, or vice versa? You know, can you give the attendees who have stuck on some insight of what's worked really well for Europe imports and or what hasn't worked well?
Yeah, sure. So not sure where I got cut off. Certainly the SPASA Expo was a massive one for us. It's paid for itself at least threefold so far, with a lot more. We're tracking, you know, where the leads come from quite stringently. Entering the awards, it's always a great time just to get your brand awareness out there and socialise. Google Earth campaign, I think you may have heard of that before I got cut off. And then we do DA approvals, so everyone in New South Wales, I mean, we could roll this out to Australia, but at the moment in New South Wales, what we do is we've got someone looking on all the council's websites to see who's got a DA approval for either a pool reno or a new pool, anything to do with the pool, basically. And then we send them a mail pack, a welcome pack. How can we help you through what's often can be a challenging time? Regular newsletters with new products and specials, and being consistent with that. One of the things you said, Luke, it was about consistency. So yeah, very important. One thing I did like what you said, Luke, especially, was about the complementary marketing. So not just doing something, not just doing a print ad, which are really important, mind you. I'm not suggesting we don't do print, but following that up with a timely campaign on whether it be MailChimp or Facebook or Instagram or text or whatever. Just making sure it's not just through one channel. It's attacking on every possible platform you can. Yeah, because we're trying to be aggressive to win business. And social media, Instagram and Facebook. Not sure if you heard that. I don't think you did. Instagram, we're finding we've doubled our followers in the since November 11, and Facebook we've increased a little bit. We're finding a lot more success with Instagram, but that depends on the demographic. Okay, so the older people, just a bit older than you and me, Luke.
Does it sound like your age, Pete, or?
Yeah, about my age, right? Yeah. So yeah, we're finding, but a lot more of the younger people, so let's say under 60 odd or 65, they're more into the Insta, whereas others are more Facebook orientated because they're keeping up with grandkids and children or that sort of thing. Welcome to the family mail outs. So as soon as we get a new customer, we send them a mail pack saying, welcome to our family. You know, we are here for you, and we are. And that's getting a lot of really positive feedback. Advertising in print, of course, I hope that never goes away, because there's nothing like having something in your hand, especially when you're a bit older like us, like over 25, let's say. I think it's got a lot more relevance than, say, you know, an EDM, like an ebook or something like that. Free sample servicing. So someone jumps on our website, I really like the look of that. Oh yeah, sure. Would you like a sample? No worry. We get it out within 24 hours. Marketing with email signatures. I really like doing this. So we update our email signatures. We try to do it every month, but it doesn't happen every month on the month. Sometimes it's every 2 months, but it's about putting a special on there, or don't forget our Instagram, or check out this new project we just did. Brand and message consistency. Yeah, so we redid our brand guidelines so that our messaging is consistent. Yeah, if you get something from Europe Imports, it looks the same, but just with different content, relevant content. COVID. So just in relation to COVID, basing back to the first question, a little bit like how has it impacted? Having our team, our 4 internal sales and admin team off work has just been amazing. The efficiencies that they're phoning to reactivate clients that haven't purchased in the last year or who have declined, they're going nuts. We've never made so many phone calls in our lives. It's just incredible. And the amount of new merchandise requests we get because we're checking in on how's that merchandise going that you got in 2018, because we keep track of everything. Yep. And, we're missing that folder, or we're missing these samples. Have you heard about the new 50mm Zen range? No, we haven't. Because we've got a very large amount of customers, especially tile store wise. It's almost impossible to keep up with, servicing them to the level that we would like to service them to. So putting this stuff in place has been amazing, and it's really it's really given us rewards. The amount of new stuff going out is incredible. And to give you an idea, has it been successful? By and large, yes. The expos, as I said, has paid for itself many times over. We still get people coming in to see us 2 years later. They go, every time someone comes in, we say, how come you're here? What have you come to see us about, and who referred you? And say, we saw you at the expo 2 years ago. And then the other day we had one, we saw you at the expo 3 years ago. They still hadn't gotten the project sorted. But to give you an idea,
Pete, we've run through the time. We try and keep it to the hour. Maybe the takeaways are there is no secret bullet. There is no, you've covered off so many things. I suppose what we're hearing from you is understand there is a marketing mix. Everyone does view content differently, and actually just thinking about your marketing and then sticking to a single message. So a single branding message, and then putting it out through as many avenues you can afford through the resources that you have. That's obviously the core of what you've come across. So we really want to thank you for your time today, and also thank all the rest of our sponsors. Please have a look on our webpage, everybody, on SPASA. Just click the training button, and hopefully we see you all next week. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Luke. And talk to everyone next week.
If anyone wants to contact me personally, they're more than welcome to, and I can elaborate on any of this stuff. I'm yeah, do what we can for the industry, mate. Like you like saying.
Thanks, Pete. I'll put your email address in the chat box.
Thank you. All the best, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, and there we go. All right, for those who stuck around, Peter's email is in the inbox. Okay, thank you all, and to all a good night.
Oh, it's not Christmas.